this journey we'll arrive with our passion burning bright. Up in Spurs we arise, eyes on the prize, victory in sight with all our might, with all our might, with all our might.
Yes, guys, hi, and welcome to THL. I don't know why I do that. Why I just grab. It's like I'm trying to grab you and bring you into the stream. Don't know why I do that. I need to stop doing that. I look like a lunatic. Anyway, good evening and welcome to THFC Till I Die. Your home of Tottenham past, present, and the exciting future. On to Steve. There we go. We're into the exciting future on to Steve. Don't worry, for the next show will be Bob. If we know a Bob, he's your future. And this is your predicted lineup for Wolves versus Spurs. Me and Steve have come together. This is the meeting of brilliant, great minds of picking a lineup. We just went through it before we came on this, and he already sees flaws in some of my picks, and I can't see any flaws in his. So now we know who really should be the Tottenham manager and who should be his assistant. But we'll let you be the decider of that. We'll let you see who's right, who's wrong. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Get your comments in the comment section below. Hit the like, hit the subscription from here. Also on Stateside Footy, which this video will be going out there as well. We'll be sending Steve the download of this stream so he can put up on his own channel and we can get it out there. Yeah. But Steve, how are you, sir? I saw you a few hours ago. Enjoyed the podcast this morning. Really had fun. But how are you this afternoon, sir?
I cannot complain, man. It's been a good day. I can't complain. The sun is shining out here in the fine town of Flint, Michigan, and I got to be honest with you, man. I enjoy seeing the sunshine. For the first time, it actually feels like spring. But I got an even better question for you: is how was the afternoon with Mrs. Tron? I know that you had when we last talked, you had to jump off because you wanted to spend a few hours with your missus. So how did that go for you this afternoon?
Ended up being Dad's taxis. I did, yeah. I spent a few hours with her. I spent an hour with her. Really, enjoyed it. And then I said, sorry, I've got to get back to work. And so I had to go and put this guy. It's only because I took yesterday off because of my back and me not feeling well. The day after, if I know I've got loads of work to do, it just throws me out a day. And I don't like that. So I've been busy all afternoon. Also, didn't help the Grand Prix was on and I took an hour out to watch the qualifying. So I had to watch it. I'm sorry. As an F1 nut. But I tell you, we're not here to talk about Formula One. We're not here to talk about Mrs. Tron. No, she is worthy of talking about. She is. And she is the queen of this channel. She's the boss as well, as we must not forget. We want to go through our predicted lineup for the Wolves game tomorrow. And this is it. And I think we're going to start with the first one that me and Steve are really going to agree on. The rest of it is downhill from here. Anyway, we are starting with Vicario, the Italian man, in goal, and he's with 19 appearances already this season for Tottenham #1. No subs. Steve, I think you agree with that. Vicario in goal?
Yeah, I think this is going to be the only position that we're going to agree on. Unless there is a reason for Kinski to come on, it's probably going to be Vicario for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think so. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting. Very interesting. Now we had two positions to pick. I gave Steve the centre backs and I did the full backs. And I have gone with Steve's gone with the full backs are Jed Spence, Jedi Man, the fastest Dutch man in the West. We've got the Argentinian Bulldog and the Welsh Dragon in Ben Davis. Now, go on, Steve. Go on, rip me apart. Rip my picks apart. Go on, rip them apart.
I'm just saying there was a time in football history where your starting 11 was your starting 11, and they played in virtually every single match, unless there was a valid injury in which you had to bring somebody on. Very rarely substitutions were done until like the 80th minute, that type of thing. And then usually your starters played most of your matches. And I understand in the new era of heavy rotation, I can understand that. But when you're talking about center back pairings and the fact that these two have been out for a very good portion of the season, the only way to get their sharpness up to scratch to actually be able to perform in big games is they actually have to be on the pitch. And so that's why I have Van de Ven starting alongside Christian Romero, because that partnership has to get back to sharpness. We have seen that partnership at a very high level be absolutely successful, holding the ball up in the buildup, but also turning back when balls over the top and getting in position to defend. They cover an immense space, so we know those two are absolutely a world class pairing when they're at total match sharpness. And again, that doesn't happen unless they play. And this is the game where Ange Postecoglou has to be responsible, understanding yes, Thursday is important, but this game is equally as important as well too, because he can't let points slip away. So those two are my center back pairings. Where I agree with you is in Jed Spence, but where I agree he's going to be playing is on the left side, because I actually think that's it. I hate to say it. I know he's a natural right back, but I actually think he might be a better left back. And the ability to match up well and time his overlap runs works well with Son. I think it actually helps him a little bit. Plus, he's a little bit better in possession than Destiny Udogie. And I just think that for this match, he didn't play, or he played very sparingly in the first leg against Frankfurt. I think he gets damn near a full 90 in this one. But I also think Pedro Porro is going to be playing this one as well too. And again, Tottenham have to put as much creativity on the pitch in the attack as they can forward. And this is also an interesting situation too, because we're not in the age of 3 substitutions anymore. We have 5. And so it's not out of the realm of possibility, like in the 60th or 70th minute, that they can take off Pedro Porro if they need it, and move Jed Spence over to the right, and then bring in Destiny Udogie. It's not out of the realm of possibility that that could happen as well too, especially if you want to preserve minutes for Thursday, but you also want to at least start the game with the strongest 11 as possible.
Yeah. No, listen, I agree with you with the centre-backs. I've got no problem with Van de Ven and Romero. I think that is sensible. You start with your best 2 centre-backs. They need the minutes in their legs anyway. Where I decided to go with my fullbacks is I decided to rest Porro for this one because I think you need him fresh for Thursday. And the other one you can put there is Jed Spence. I think he's a natural right back, and I think that's the perfect position for him. Why I've gone for Ben Davies on left back is, look, I'm not his biggest fan at left back, but I don't think Udogie has been playing well this season. I don't think he had a great game on Thursday. So to rest him, if you need him Thursday also, that is why I started with Ben Davies. Now, you can bring on the Udogie on the second half if Ben Davies tires, or you can switch out if you want to bring one of your centre-backs off. You could switch him into the central defence and bring Udogie on that way. But I think, for me, for the fullbacks, I think going away at Wolves, you have to be a little bit sensible. You have to be a little bit tight at the back, because Wolves will, if you give them any space, will punish you. So, but
do you know what my biggest issue though with Ben Davies is in this position is that I don't necessarily trust him as a left back, as I do more as a left center half. That's the thing, no, and I think Ange Postecoglou actually agrees with that too, because we've seen him more playing it as a left center half than he has as a left back.
Yeah, I mean, if we had a proper left backup to Udogie,
I agree.
I wouldn't have I wouldn't be sticking Ben Davies there, but he has played left back. I just think to protect Udogie for Thursday, and to protect Porro as well for Thursday, which I think is more important. Tomorrow is important, but Thursday's our season. It's do or die. I think you just got to protect as many players as you can. Like the reporter said in the press conference, wrapping them up in cotton wool. And Ange's answer to that was, I think he's going to make a lot of changes tomorrow. Now, if we win, he's a hero. If we lose and one of these, either Ben Davies or Jed Spence made a mistake, then he's a villain. So it's very hard. I wouldn't love to be in his position. I don't think you would either. But, you look at that. Van de Ven's only made 11 appearances this year. Jed Spence has made more appearances in the back four, at that back four, than a lot of them put together, and scored a goal. You got Romero with 16.
I think Archie Gray has the same amount of appearances in the back four as well too. So it just goes to show you, and again, it just goes to show you the need to play a guy like Van de Ven just for the sake of sharpness. And I understand you. It's the same principle with the fullbacks as well too. If you want to bring them off to preserve him for Thursday, you easily could.
Yeah, 22 appearances Archie Gray's made this season,
Yeah.
and Bergville as well has made 24 appearances as well this season. So they've played a lot of football, the youngsters. Now the midfield. Now I did say I disagreed with you beforehand, but
Yeah.
during the intro and during the I've actually come to agree with you. And I've had a very quick rethink, and I've had a look at, because on my other monitor I got the Tottenham squads and their appearances and their whatever, and I'm looking at it. I'm thinking, do you play a Basuma? No, he doesn't offer you anything. Do you play a Bergville? No, you want him fresh for Thursday. That's
Yeah.
more important. Now, the one place I would do, I know you've went with Bentancur, Madison, and Sarr. The one
Mm-hmm.
person I would put in there, and I think I would switch it out, is Archie Gray for Bentancur. I would play him in the number 6, but that's the only change I make. I think James Madison needs minutes in his legs to prove that to start creating stuff again. And then Papa Sarr, well, he's a goal threat anyway. So I think the
Correct.
two attacking midfielders are good, but as the number 6, well, I agree with you. Bentancur does bring balance. I just would have started Archie Gray in that number 6 run instead of Bentancur and keeping Bentancur fresh for Thursday. But that's just my opinion, but I don't disagree with it. But that's probably, if I'm nitpicking, that's the only change I would probably make. But as I said, generally I do agree with the 3 you've gone with, but I'm probably nitpicking
Yeah.
if anything else.
Well, so the thing about it is I know, like you, like a lot of other fans, want to see Archie Gray get a run at his natural position, and I understand the sentiment because I kind of want to see it too. But I do also acknowledge that's going to be an end of the season thing. If Spurs end up going out here in the quarterfinal and all they have left is the Premier League, then I would probably assume that you're going to see some youngsters get some run towards the end of the season.
I would say
Because at that point, there's nothing necessarily to play for, and it would be good to give that experience to some of that youth. And I think at that point you probably would see Archie Gray at that point. But again, with Tottenham still still something to play for, it just made sense, right? I think the chemistry and the continuity between Betancourt and Madison and Bergvall is actually a real thing. I think over the course of the last 3 matches, as we've seen that midfield trio develop a little bit of chemistry, and I like, and it feels like they have a lot of familiarity, and they can kind of read their moves in the buildup. In the Chelsea match, they looked actually rather sharp in the buildup. And in Southampton, they were actually kind of lethal in the buildup. And on Thursday's game, I didn't necessarily see a lot of drop off. The interesting thing about that, more geared to the second half, they just couldn't finish challenges. But as far as the buildup goes, and actually trying to play through the middle, and trying to break lines, I thought Betancourt did a pretty good job. I thought Madison looked pretty on point. And the only reason why I have Madison is because I think he's proven that he can play in multiple games and still maintain those levels between games, right? So I don't have a problem with putting Madison back on. Same with Betancourt. But I agree with you with Bergvall, right? He's only 19 years old. He's had a lot of run of games, and he's also improving on such a scale, on a week-to-week scale, that you're absolutely right. He needs to be rested for Thursday. He's going to be an important player for us on that return leg. And this is an opportunity to give a guy like Sarr, a start. And, that's the thing. It's like, you're absolutely right. He is goal dangerous. He finds himself in good positions. He's not afraid to make runs. And against the Wolves defense, he's going to find himself in position where he can actually be goal dangerous. I think it would be advantageous. Where I do think that Archie Gray I do think he's going to play a role in this game. I 100% think he does. I think he's actually first choice off the bench for the midfield ahead of a guy like Yves Bissouma, who has fallen so far out of favor with Ange Postecoglou. And again, he seems to me like when he'll get run again is towards the end of the season. So I like this midfield 3, and I do think that Archie Gray will get run at the 6 at some point in this match.
I have to say, thinking about it and listening to your reasons why, I think I have to agree with you. I was against it to begin with when I saw it. And as I said, the more I thought about it during the intro and, your reasons is why, I have to agree with you. But I just feel you need to. I just feel you need to rest Bentancur. That's just a preference. It's not a sentiment that I want Archie Gray to play there. I just feel Bentancur needs resting because I feel also Bentancur is so important to Thursday as well, and you want him and Bergville playing well together with James Maddison. I think that
The only
midfield works actually.
the only slight the reason why I disagree is because there is a drastic drop off if you take Betancourt out of the starting 11. Right,
Yeah,
there is a
yeah,
drop
there
off,
is.
and it's
Yeah,
not because I don't think that Archie Gray can't do it. It's just because he hasn't really featured at that position all season, albeit a
yeah,
couple appearances off the bench. And that's the thing. It's like we need this. We need Spurs to start fast in this game, like
yeah,
incredibly fast. And I don't
yeah.
I don't like. I think that's a little too much of a drop off to get to have that ask. That's all I'm saying.
No, no, no. I agree with you. I agree with you. And also, I think Bentancur does bring that balance and that sort of.
Yeah.
He brings the balance and the calmness to that midfield. I don't think anyone else can. But no, that's our midfield three. So let us know if you agree or disagree. Now we've gone to the front three. Now Steve thinks I've really lost my marbles. He thinks I
I'll
should
let you.
be taken to.
I'll let you discuss it, man. I'm curious to know why you picked these three.
Right. Well, we know Odegaard hasn't got a hamstring injury. We know he trained somehow with the leak. I just put him in there. What I've been
The
reading,
leak.
maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, the
the,
leak.
the leak.
We will be talking about that. If this goes out after the show we do at 8, we have talked about it, and if it has gone out before, we are going to talk about it. But we're going to talk about it anyway. Now I've gone a front three of Odegaard. I have to say properly, Odegaard.
Odebear.
Solanke. Is it Odegaard or Odegaard?
Odebear. That's
Odegaard.
the
I
American
keep calling
version.
it.
That's the
Yeah,
American
I
French
keep.
version.
Yeah, I keep calling it Odegaard, but apparently I keep being told it's Odegaard.
But
So I don't know.
it's the elongated A's of the Irish.
Yeah,
Odebar. I like it though.
Odegaard. Yeah, I'm just gonna call. I've sod you lot. I'm calling them Odegaard, and I'm sticking to it. Or Odie. I'm gonna call them
Odie.
Odie. That's it, John.
Odie.
Odie.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit like Yoda. Odie. He is the
When
one.
when you say Yogi
Um,
though, when you say Odie though, that's the funny thing is when you say Odie, it makes me think of the dog from Garfield.
yeah, I'm thinking of the little green feather out of Star Wars.
Oh, Yoda. Yeah, sure. I
Yoda.
gotcha.
Yeah, Yoda. Yeah. Oh, me look good. Me look good in white shirt. Right. That's a bad Yoda impression. I know. Sorry, I will improve.
It's good though. It's good.
Me look good in Tottenham shirt. Me score
Me
goal.
look good. Me look good in Tottenham shirt. Yes.
Yeah. Sounds like a German being dragged through a hedge
Yeah.
backwards.
I
That.
look good in the Tottenham shirt. Yeah.
Oh Lord. Right. Let's get back and talking football instead of trying to do bad impersonations. My name is Chris Eubanks, and I look good in the Tottenham shirt. But there you go. Right, Odegaard, Solanke, and Matthias Tell. Now, why I've gone for these, right, is you need to keep Brendan Johnson fresh for Thursday. I'm sorry, you do. I think he gives you something more. As we know, Sonny has not been performing. Sonny looked tired. Sonny looked a bit jaded Thursday. So you rest him today. If you're going to start him, you start him Thursday. So who do you put on the wings? We haven't got a lot of options, so I think you start with these two. Matthias Tell is a winger, by the way, a left winger anyway. So that's his natural position. He's not a striker, so you're playing where he naturally positions. Odegaard, for me, is more dangerous on the wing too. He attacks his man. You look at the game against, I think it was Southampton when he played. He was attacking. Was it Southampton or the game before that? He was attacking.
Southampton.
He was attacking. He was attacking his fullback, and he really was doing well. And then, of course, now we've got a dilemma here. You could start with Solanke up front, or do you start with Richie up front and rest Solanke for Thursday? You went for Solanke. I'm actually going to say you start Richie up front and you keep Solanke fresh for Thursday. Now, that would be my front three. Where have I gone wrong with my wingers? And why should you start Solanke for
Well,
Thursday.
first and foremost, you didn't go wrong because this is what you think is going to appear, and
Yeah.
you're certainly okay to have that belief. And I don't necessarily disagree. It's just I where I do agree with you though is Wilson Odebear, and I think it's because number one, I don't think Sonny has actually done anything to actually warrant continued starts in the starting 11.
No.
That's number one. But number two, you're absolutely right. I think coming back off the international break, he played a significant role against Chelsea, played a significant role against Southampton, and played a significant role against Frankfurt. So there's a lot of minutes there. But also the fact that really he has not been goal dangerous. And I think Dave Harris, our friend Dave Harris, had a very good poignant take when he was saying that defenses are just keying in on and taking away the right foot and overloading the left hand side. And so unfortunately, he's been essentially pushed to the touchline. And because of the ineffectiveness of Solanke and Brendan Johnson, it is what it is, right? So I like Wilson Odebear on the left. I think it's his best position. Yes, he can play the right, but I actually think you get more bang for your buck with him on the left hand side. I really do
Yeah, no,
believe
it's fair
that,
enough.
and I think in the context of this match, it makes perfect sense. Now on the right hand side is where I disagree, because, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Brendan Johnson is a relegation merchant. He absolutely feasts against teams at the bottom of the table. And if you look at the score sheet and you look at his goals, look at those.
Yeah.
Look at where those goals have come against, right? And so if you don't have a dude like Sonny playing, you have to have somebody that at least that's going to make a run to the post. And Brendan Johnson does at least do that. Now, where he lacks, obviously, is 1v1 situations. He doesn't take on his man. We've been over that ad nauseum. Now, I do believe that we will see Matisse still get a lot of run in this match. I actually think we'll see it. I think he's going to get at least 30 minutes, if not more, at some point in this match. I don't know how it's going to happen. We have also seen performances where Brendan Johnson was taken off at half because he was absolute crap in the first half, and that very well could be. But that being said, I do think that we'll see Wilson Odebear on the left and Brendan Johnson at least to start. And I have Dominic Solanke for a reason, because he's the only informed striker that we have at the moment, at least in the first team. The problem with Richie is I don't know if he has 45 minutes in the tank at all.
No,
we
that's
just don't
true.
know. We just don't know, right? So I mean, you can run him out there for the first half, and then if you want to bring Solanke on later, I guess you could. And I know that Adrian over at Spurs Diehard has mentioned Dane Scarlett as well too. And is this a match where Dane Scarlett makes sense? I don't know. But if you're Ange Postecoglou and you want to see sharpness and you want to see Dom Solanke continue to get run out there to at least improve that, again, the only way that's going to happen is if he's going to play. This also feels like a game where Dom Solanke could possibly get on the score sheet prior to the half. And then at that point, if you want to protect a lead, then you can make your substitutions up front as well too. I just think Odebear, Solanke, and Johnson seems like the most realistic. But would I be surprised if it's Tell on the left and Odebear on the right? No.
Yeah. What I love about these predicted lineups is it gives you a chance to be a little bit more. I think the word would be a little bit more. You got a bit of freedom. You don't have the responsibility. You're going with what you think is best and where you think and should be doing. We're all football managers at the end of the day.
I will say this though, right? Because Wilson Odebear only has 10 appearances because of a lengthy injury that kept him out.
Yeah.
Kept him out. Since Tell's come over in January, he's only made 6 appearances, right? So why did you bring him over if you're not going to play him, right? Like you're bringing him, so you're essentially bringing him over to sit in Timo Werner's spot on the bench. You know what I mean? Like he has to get run. He has to get play at some point.
Yeah, he does. Well, listen, guys, that is our predicted lineup for the Wolves game next tomorrow. Ooh. Of course, we got the Oh, hello.
Can I ask you one question real quick before we go?
Yeah, of course
Who do you think is the first off the bench tomorrow?
Oh, it depends who's on the bench. Do you know what? I'm just looking at here. Do you know what? I can see. I'm going for. Do you know what? I'm going for Basuma.
Basuma. Okay. I think that question has to be asked with: Are we chasing a goal? Is it still tied? Are we up a goal? Because if we're up a goal, then Yves Basuma makes a tremendous amount of sense, right? Because you're going to try to protect the 1-goal lead. If we're chasing a goal,
you bring on Sonny.
Either Sonny or Richie at that point.
Yeah, I
You know
agree.
what I mean?
I agree with you. That's a very good question, actually. That's a good point. Maybe we should actually do that for the next one. We'll both predict our first substitutes and see can we get them right. It might be a bit of fun, that actually. But guys,
absolutely.
do please get over to Stateside's Footy and hit the like button over there. The link will be put into the description below. This video will also be going out over there, of course, and also hit the like and subscribe here as well. Hit that like button, because if you hit the like button, it is free, and you're showing love and affection for the channels, and also it gets us out the algorithm. It gets us out there. People start watching this more. But guys, we are going to end it there. If you know, you're going to see us all on the pre-match, where I have titled the show "Can Ange Tame the Wolves?" So that is the name of the show. Can he tame the wolves? I thought it was quite good.
To answer your question, no.
Yeah, I thought that
wolves cannot be tamed. Wolves cannot be tamed.
Oh, they can when it comes to Ange. Ange will
That's
just
true.
look at Ange.
That's
It goes,
true.
it go up to it. It goes, it's who we are, mate. And the wolves
It's who
just
we
run
are,
away.
mate.
Score prediction for tomorrow.
Ooh. I think I said earlier today, this is an interesting one, and the reason why I feel this is because the history versus I think Spurs have only won 5 times in the last 20 versus Wolves. That's not a good. That's not a good. That's not a good history line right there. But I will say that. And the other theory in this is Wolves come into this one a little bit more informed, winners of 3 straight. Yeah. I understand who they beat, but still 3 in a row is still 3 in a row. They didn't have the extra pressure of a Europa League match in the middle of their calendar. I think they're going to be up for the opportunity to take a run at Tottenham. So I'm going to say the same thing I said this morning. I can see it. I can see this one finishing in a draw, and I'll say 1-1.
I'm just delusional, going for 3-0. That's my score prediction. We're going for a 3-0 win.
I was surprised it wasn't 5-0, Derma.
No. That's for tomorrow. You got to let me build up. It's a slow build up, Steve.
You got to psych yourself into the 5-0. Yeah. Okay, it's a slow boil. I got you.
At the moment I'm sort of halfway there, but I'm not there yet. But I'm getting there. So by tomorrow, when Dave asked me,
I was going to say, let me do my job and I'll help you get there.
Yeah. When Dave asked me by tomorrow what's your score, I'll be going 6-0. But anyway, that is our predicted lineup.
9-0 Spurs.
Yes. Oh yes. You sound very posh there.
We're gonna go Ultra FIFA 11-0 Spurs.
You don't try to take the delusional title off of me, buddy, pal. Right? I'm the delusional one here, right? On that bombshell, we should leave it there. Take care, like and subscribe, and let us know what you think. Rate our lineup out of 10. Let us know what you think. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.